Welcome back to What If Zuko Had Demon Lord Maline Naga's Powers, Part 2. So, yes, sorry about that, and the first one was, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. So, where we left off, Zuko, or Deku, sees what quirk he has from that quirk assessment, or from that quirk thing when he did his quirk test on him, as they so after he brought in a doctor thing, like brought in him, sorry about that, I don't know what just happened. So Zuko, who couldn't believe that the this doctor was lying to the woman that abandoned him. So yeah, then they all start like, so it was like a normal day, but when Sashi walks up to Zuko before school started, because he sees him on a beach training his powers, as he used his own version of fire breath and flame manipulation and telekinesis, and use it was like the after image, as he just completely ignores Sashi, as she or he can't believe that someone's ignoring the pro hero that has fire breath. So yeah, he basically, when Zuko, when he stops him, as he looks up and he says, "Do I know you?" As Astashi remembers, or no, yeah, Astashi saw him on the TV thing, like on the news, as all for one says, "Huh, you're like student had a quirk the entire time, but it was hiding from all of us. We all thought he was quirkless. But then when he... So, yeah. As they see... As he sees... Like... different spectrums. Like... Sashi went and asked Zuko about if he wants to go to his house. As he says, "Huh, no thanks. Things... Is it time for school?" As he walks away, like he picks up his backpack and starts walking away, he got all the trash off without no one even noticing it. As he like, holy crud. As he walks, as every student like they literally like cuts him away from his own or from their lives. So they're like, huh. As he felt like left out as he says, huh, okay. They couldn't believe that the student was spy or they got spied by everyone. So he says if well, as he leaves the UA, because how because they eh, like he went back to his like the beach area. He starts training harder and harder as he says, huh, I should have just as he like transformed into a dragon and he starts vaporizing the entire water, like cutting it down straight in the middle. Clean cut. The water didn't come back. So he split the seas. So, yeah, he basically had anger issues because of that. So he walks, or he converts back into his human form, walks down, and he sat down cross-legged, like meditating, as Nezu or no, as Eraserhead says, "Okay, where's Deku?" Oh, he left a few minutes ago. As they're like, huh. Well, as they're like, some of them are say good riddance because they didn't like him when they as Mr. Aizawa gave him that eye look, huh? And they were like freaked out, like, okay, why are they or what's wrong? Or like, did we do something wrong? Yes, the rest of you told Zuko, or actually, when as Racerhead says that he didn't make a mistake, he was been manipulated and by all for one. You all should have known that. As he tells the entire class that Zuko was the first that got manipulated by him to entering into this school. And it was not his fault. Oh, see. And Zuko, who, as they're like, yeah, but is he still a villain? He's still, yes, but he, or he's not a villain. He's not a spy. He was one of those like dolls things. Things. As Almain Hain says, yes, he was manipulated by the very beginning. As Almighty tells them that he wasn't just the first one that got manipulated. Those other pro heroes got manipulated too. Like those villains. Like, do you remember him saying that Zuko was, or he says, huh, well, or this is what All for Once actually said. I manipulate everyone to do what I want. As All Might tells them that. As Ochako says, so he came, so All for One manipulated all of us to do like, to reject him as a person. Yes, as Ochako, he did. After he told us, or told you all, that Zuko was the snake, but I see him as not a snake. He's a person. So they said, oh my goodness, you're right. As Zuko and the rest, or no, they all agree that they accept him as a person. As All Might tells them that about don't manipulate others. It's not good for you in the long run. As they agree, so they went out and they looked around on everywhere. As the news people says, well, this is unsuspicious of event. Wait, there's a person in between. He looks like he's dead or something. As they see Zuko meditating, eating, like, to trying to keep his tears inside of his own body. As a bunch of dragons came out of the water, starts attacking the news helicopters. As the news helicopter flew away, and yeah, they were Zuko, or as All Might, as they're like, okay, as they all went down to the beach where he was at, as they told him that they were sorry for mistreating you. Come on, Zuko. As more and more sharks, or actually, instead of sharks, it was actual, like, water clones of of themselves nailed them to the water or to the beach, and they said, huh, the they told them that as they couldn't believe as Inko Asashi snuck right past their son's defense things. They walked right past, or like snuck right past, as they could see up close. He's like tearing down. That's why he's facing away from them. As all my, or as Inko says, deku, as he lifts one eye up, as it's completely like watered, like it looked like they couldn't see. Yeah. As Inko remembers Zuko real well, so she ends up telling him that he can stop this, as just please come home with us, or come home. As Zuko says, I have no home. The and you abandoned me. As he used blind sight ink, and he like threw, or he literally went and like right to a sunken ship of her boat, as he walks towards it. And yeah, he could feel her powers brewing, as once he got close and touched it, her powers became his. Basically, like her rage fused with his own rage. As Inko Asashi went and, or actually Inko ran up to Zuko, gave him a hug, as he says, I do not know you. As she says that I know that your memories got taken away, but I'm returning them back to you. As he as she gave them back, as he starts, like, he remembers his name was Zuko Midoriya. As he remembers a lot of things, as he turns around and he sees his own mother, and he starts crying, hugging her and Asashi, as he, of course, she knows that he's as because it's been so long. So he ends up. So the water things landed, and yeah, they accepted him as who he is, and Inko told him all about it, like filled him in about what happened to them, to him. As then, yeah, Zuko, who, who has unlocked the evil version of her that everyone thought she was dead. So, but before they left, she comes out of water all upset. Or this is her like darkest form. As she tells them that you will, or as they could sense that she is not here or chitter chatter, she says, the villains, you villains, I hate every single one of you. As she is acting like Doomsday, but she's more of a talker, not like Doomsday is. So he ends up, so she ends up like, huh, well, your city is done. As Zuko, who still has like her kindness and like the powers, as he says, I'll do it, as he transforms into like his big buffed up form, and he like grew bat wings and yeah, like 4 dragon wings, as he says, huh, as she remembers him, as she uses his actual name, Zuko. Her like vessel, or her like they, as she says, I know that your hatred for being manipulated by all for one, but you and I are so different, as she explains what she wants from Zuko, as she flies up to him, and instead of stabbing him, she decides to do something that no demon lord actually did. And that, so she ends up putting his or her arms around his body, and like, because she never had anyone understand her pain of losing a person or something. So she hugs him, and she finally kisses him. Yeah. So, yeah, she basically, instead of like punching him, as she actually says, "You have avenged my parents." So I'm happy for that. As she flew down, as she looks over at All Might, and she says, "It has been a long time since I've seen you around, All Might. Have you lost all that, like, buffed up sounds things?" As as she actually became, instead of like being all like aggressive to others, she actually became Zuku's like sister, because his DNA and hers, or like her DNA, or her parents' DNA, and his was a match. So basically, and makes Maline Naga the biological sister to Zuhumi or Zuku. Like, her basically, they're cousins. And yeah. So yeah. That's what happens. And as before that, Zuko tells her to stop this, and it's not, and the all the villains have been vanquished before. As when that's then when she saw Zuko's looks just like hers, but more boy version and green hair, she told him that, you must be my brother. As she ends up, that's then that happens, as because the Zuko or Inko didn't know that, like, the her parents fused with into her, or like her mother fused with Inko, and Asashi's, or like his, or her dad was fused. So basically, he has two sisters. It should have been like whatever Deku had, and Demon Lord Maline as a sister. So yeah, and it's basically when, in order to revive her back from the dead thing, it was a different process than Zuko like came back to life from that getting pierced by All For One. So yeah, as they ended up, as they couldn't believe that his own, as yeah. So yeah, now, and I'm skipping the dodgeball, and of course, so I also skipped the like overhaul fight. So overhaul, they're actually Ares was safe. Overhaul got beaten up real bad, and as she says, well, as she was having her, like, her sister and her, like, she's having, like, sister and brother moment, like, to really bond with her, like, with her other sister and her brother. So, yeah, as he says, well, of course, she says, well, I know that when I was inside your body, Zuko, when you don't talk to me, as he says, well, first of all, you needed to, like, talk louder to me. Not yelling, but just enough for me to hear you, or, okay? As she understands that, and plus, she also understands that the quirk that was, like, blind sight one, she actually was moving it around inside of his own body. That's pretty scary. And yeah. And they had their own, like, family meaning things. Yeah. So, yeah, Zuko was, or of course, she says, I know that your quirk is basically the, and it's pretty cool actually. As they, as Zuko, or as, like, Todoroki couldn't believe that he had a girl inside of a man's body. As, yeah, everybody's, like, a little bit embarrassed because that seems just too weird. And playing with the quirk, like moving it around, as Maya was like, ready? As they, like, couldn't believe, as, yeah. So they spent a lot of time with Ares and, like, everybody else. So now, if this video, gets, sorry, if this video gets whopping 1 or more likes, I will start doing the what if Zuko had Demon Lord Maline as his sister. So yeah. So this is the end of the video, and please leave a like, share, subscribe. But before we go, I want to do this little thing called Alt Custom Cards. So, and if I find my own, like, or like the first, let's do some Naruto ones. So yeah, this runs Sunbeam. If this card is banished by a card effect, you can special summon it from anywhere to your field in the defense mode. but it gets added to your hand if this card leaves the field. You can add one Subnautica ship thing from anywhere to your hand. I was trying to make it based off of like a rocket ship thing. And then this is the Subnautica biomes, Island of Cannons. And this is what the deck looks like before. And yes, each one except for this one. So yeah. So let's start with the monsters. You already seen the Subnautica like Sunbeam. Now this is the Subnautica Crashfish. It's a flip effect monster. Destroys all cards from your opponent's field. And then you draw one card for each destroyed card from the graveyard by this effect. If this card is sent to the grave, you can place this card on the field in the set mode. And you gain 100 attack for each, So, instead of going to a graveyard, you can place it from your graveyard to to your field. So, yeah, and then you can add, or you can gain 100 attack, or life points, sorry. So, Subnautica Neebs. I just added the Neebs part, but I don't know the players. So, if this card is, or if you have the Subnautica ship Aurora on the field, or graveyard, or Bannerstone, you can special summon this card from your hand instead of tribute summon. I know it's a level 4. I meant to put it at level 9 or 10, but I needed this card to be with to create the overlay network. So yeah. And if if you have biome card on the field, it gains 100 attack for each one of them. If this card is used for Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Link with a monster or monsters, and it gains this effect for once per turn. This card gains attack for each battle phase, and this card attacks 3 times in battle for each turn. So yeah, basically this card is you can you can draw cards, and I was gonna make him level 12, but I'm like, nah, just do the overlay network thing. So this one is the Lost River one, Subnautica Dead Fish of Darkness. It's supposed to be underwater, so that's why it's a water type fish. So yeah, if you have Subnautica biome Lost River on the field, you can special summon this card without a tribute, and if you do, you can inflict damage to your opponent or each level this card has, or once per turn. So and it's so basically I know it's not very much. It's 12 of points to your opponents. If this card attacks a monster before battle or before damage calculations, you can discard one card from your deck to destroy all cards from your opponent's field to banish zone, but their effects can't not be activated. And then this card attacks 3 times per battle. If this card is sent to the grave, you can special summon one. So to make a link monster thing, I wanted it to cooperate with Debola. So this is the separate from the what if one. So I wanted this card to give it more attack, and it attacks 3 times, so it's basically 1, 2, or 20, or 25, 50, 75, 75 per battle. Plus, this card earns effects, or this card gains or each biome thing, and it's this card certain ones, and yeah. So now, bye bye. See ya guys later.